The preliminary examination of offset claims are done at Ministry of Defense, Defense Offset Management Wing. We have an audit agency who audits the financial aspects of it. If required, we sought clarification from the vendors, and finally an offset credit is given to the foreign vendor for its offset claims. We'll just run through the slides now. Offset implementation, we have few post-contractual issues. As I said, offset contract has got a proper offset schedule. Now, in most of the cases, we have seen that foreign vendors are not adhering to the offset schedule. This basically creates a delay in monitoring as well as in giving offset benefits to the foreign vendors. We are receiving quite frequent requests from the foreign vendors saying that they are unable to execute their plans, business plans in India. Thereby, many a times we are receiving requests from them for changing their original plan, and this has been done quite frequently, and this basically results in delay in implementation process. Previous DPP said whether it is an extension granted to the vendor or a rephasing done in his offset schedule, this all done on the basis on an exceptional circumstances. Now this exceptional circumstances is quite subjective, as nowhere it is explained which all condition can be considered as an exceptional. So more or less, Ministry of Defense has been quite liberal, and whatever requests are coming, they are basically, if there is a solid justification, they have been approved so far. Offset implementation, it is not just simply reporting. All documentation submitted by the vendors are subject to verification and audit. Few information to the vendors. Identification and selection of Indian offset partner. As I said earlier, the foreign vendor is fully independent. He can select as per his will, and the avenues of discharge, there is no limitation. He can select whatever avenues of discharge for discharging his offset liability, whether it is direct purchase or direct sourcing from India, or he invest in India through an equity or non-equity, transfer of technology, transfer of equipment. It is up to him how he wants. But 70% of his total offset obligation are to be discharged with the first 4 avenues that has been mandated in DPP 2013. Standard contract documents covers all important clause which requires for delivering the details in India. Notwithstanding, sometimes the foreign vendors go for additional clauses. As I said, could be an arbitration clause, could be an force majeure clause kind of thing. But those are the things which are basically evaluated at our stage, and in case if we find that it is necessary, then they are included. Vendors are given adequate opportunity to comply his proposal as mandated by DPP. That means repeatedly vendors are given opportunity to correct his proposal, whether at his technical evaluation stage or at commercial evaluation stage, so that the proposal is fully compliant as required by the DPP. The foreign vendors are supposed to give his offset schedule on yearly basis. As I told you, if the contract is of 5 years, on yearly basis he is supposed to give his offset discharge details. However, DPP does not mandate completion of a particular percentage of offset in a particular year. That means it might so happen that a foreign vendor selects to discharge his entire offset obligation only at the final year. So that is, although we have no mandate to basically force a foreign vendor to do that, we request if it can be evenly distributed, then it is beneficial for both the Government of India as well as for them. Otherwise, if the liability remains at the end, then there are chances that he doesn't fulfill and there is a notice for penalty and subsequent action as mandated by the DPP. All Indian offset partners are now aware of the fact that what all documentations are required to make them eligible IOP. What are the requests generally we receive from the foreign vendors are change of IOP. They give us a business plan and then subsequently they tell us, okay, now they wanted to go ahead to change their Indian offset partner. Change of components. If they have selected certain components, that means some products, some avenues, they wanted to change it. Rephasing. If he has scheduled his offset obligation on an yearly basis, let's say 20%, 20%, 30%, like this on a yearly basis, he wanted to change it and rephase it. Extension of time. As I said, all other previous DPPs mandates that all offset contractors supposed to be a co-terminus. That means they are supposed to terminate together with the main contract. Invariably, we find the foreign vendors, they expect extra time to complete his offset obligation in India. Contract amendments. Quite frequent request is on contract amendments, because in case if there is a change of IOP product or the avenues, this will invariably require foreign contract amendment. Change of work share, and sometimes some vendors expect their activities undertaken prior signing of offset contract is also to be accepted as a valid discharge. But DPP does not mandate. It clearly says that any activities which have been undertaken only after signing of the main offset contract will be eligible for offset discharge. Many of the requests cannot be processed as per DPP 2013. As I said, if we have almost 25 signed offset contract in which majority of them, not majority, all of them in fact, signed with the previous DPPs. That means in previous DPPs, many of the changes which is now, in fact, which was available in the present guidelines were not available. Now, in case if it is not available in the previous DPP, then what is? Then invariably we have to go to competent authority on case-to-case basis, depending on the situation or the circumstances. And the competent authority has to take a call whether to go ahead with the changes or not to proceed ahead. You can read this slide now. All these dispensations are not permitted, as I told. So ultimately, all these changes, if you have to take to the competent authority and do it, it takes time. And therefore, it results in delay in execution of offsets in India. I'll just, because of shortage of time, I'll just run through it. There is an offset banking proposal. You can quickly look into it. Banking is basically a foreign vendor whenever he had, in fact, he executes any activities which is eligible as per DPP, can bank it, and that banked offset credit can be retained in his account for 7 years. So in case within 7 years he got some contract or he is awarded some contract, he can use his banked offset credit to the extent of 50% of his total banked offset credit in that particular program. So if he has got 100 USD and if he has got, let's say, 200 USD offset program, and within 7 years he can use maximum 50%. That if 200 USD means only 100 USD he can use. But in case if he has got, suppose 150 USD commitment in an offset, and if he has got a credit of 100, he can use only 75% USD on that particular program, and subsequently he can use balance 25 in his next program. But validity of the offset credit is only for 7 years. I'll just straightaway go to the last 2-3 slides, the opportunities which are available here in defense offsets. As I said, we have the first offset policy came in 2005. Today in 2013, we have an offset policy which is more liberalized and fine-tuned. It is executable and in Indian context. We have a wide range of products and services which are eligible under offsets. India has got a diversified procurement policy, thereby all major foreign vendors across the globe has got offset commitments in India. Whether it is a vendor or his tier 1 sub-vendor, he is free to select his Indian offset partner in India. And we have, as I said, offset has got a huge stake, and it brings a substantial business in Indian context. Running through the slides. As I said, with the signed offset contracts, we have around 4.8 billion USD, almost 30,000 crore. And many of them are in the pipeline, which will bring almost 4 times the obligations in India. Preferred areas, you can see, foreign vendors so far selected some preferred areas for discharging their offset liabilities. In defense manufacturing, we have aviation sector, we have electronics, and we have communications. Few challenges. So far, we have seen whatever been sourced from India are very low-end technology. The Indian offset partner is expected to be an internationally competitive, and foreign vendors, they resort to a competitive bidding for their IOPs. That is what has been observed. Stringent selection process. Non-assurance to IOPs on continuity of business. We cannot take an assurance from them because it is up to them whether to continue with the business with the Indian offset partner or not. Last slide. We have few facilitation other than DPP. We have a facilitation cell available in Scope Complex 6th floor, Core 6, wherein clarification related to offsets are given at regular interval. You can go ahead, you can go visit to our website to check the timings which are available in Defense Offset Management doing outside. Industrial license clarification has been given by DIPP, as ma'am said in the morning. Clarification on FDI sectors. With this, I have finished. I think, I don't know whether the time will permit me to go for a QA and not. If not, I'll be available at the lunch. I mean, people may, in case if you think, they can approach me for any clarifications.